What a mess, man, with Carlos's computer down and the gapper's not working.
Hello. I think we're live. I think. I better mute that. 1 second. Oh my. Are we having fun yet? Okay. Everybody, hello. This is not Carlos. Okay, looks like the room can hear me. Looks like the room maybe now can see me. I think YouTube, you can hear me and you can see things. Oh my god. We have touchdown.
Finally.
Okay.
What a
Okay.
mess.
Well, yeah. So like 8:30 and 30 seconds. Murphy's Law struck, and Carlos's internet connection went down, and we're not sure what happened. A truck backed into a pole, or I'm making that up. I have no idea what happened. But and I get a note saying, "Peter, can you suit up?" And I felt like the bench warmer that hasn't played all season, and final game they're like, "You're in." I'm like, "What? What do you mean?" I'm not ready. All right, but here we are. So we are going to move quickly because, well, the good news is there's not a lot of going on the gappers, and it's a Friday, which usually keeps things a little milder. So we should be able to get back on schedule, hopefully, fairly quickly. I just have to. Oh my goodness! I'll have to configure things and get things going. And anyways, we will get this all working. Maybe Norm,
Bear with
you.
us.
Oh.
What's that?
Yeah, you can give us a feel for what's happening in the market overall. Have you updated the economic calendar? Have I
Yeah, I
updated
have.
the economic calendar? Because that doesn't look
Yes,
like
I
it
have.
is.
So 8:30,
Is
we
it?
got retail sales ex autos, and import price index 10 a.m. We're going to have the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index and also their 5-year inflation expectations. Business inventories 10 a.m. as well. You've got the Kansas City Fed president speaking at 10 o'clock, and 10:30 you've got a Fed governor speaking. So whole slew of stuff. Probably won't have that big of an effect anywhere, but yesterday was absolutely insane. We've discussed it, posted about it, everything else. And I'll get into the other piece of news that's as of this morning. But
Oh,
yeah, I mean, that CPI data came in hotter than expected, just sunk the market with one big, long, red 5-minute candle. And then as the day chopped for about the first 10 minutes of the open and then just skyrocketed and squeezed throughout the day. There were some people on the wrong sides of things, obviously. So all that having been said, we are up a little bit this morning, 0.2 on the SPY, 0.1 on the Qs. We'll see how this day shakes out after that big day yesterday. There's some stuff going on over in the UK, as we've discussed. There have been some problems there. Their bonds have had some trouble. They've had some different actions taken by their central bank and all kinds of stuff. So I guess there was a press conference call that's supposed to take place here in about the 18 minutes from their prime minister, and their head finance person has either resigned or been canned. So yeah, I think it's like their fifth one since 2019 as well. But anyway,
all right.
that's what's
Sorry.
going on.
All right. Carlos seems to be back online. He's just asking me, "Say, do you want me to take over?" I'm like, I don't even know how that works. I'm not sure what would happen, but we'll see. If Carlos gains control, then I will happily hand it over to him. So, like you said, Norm, the UK actually has had a big impact on the North American markets because of the significant actions they took to shore up their pension funds through their bond offerings. And as you said, that press conference could be the most impactful thing that we see on the markets today. Of course, nothing like what we saw yesterday. So let's just, like you mentioned, right? We had this, we were waiting for it like all week. And as you guys were live yesterday morning, looking for this, right? We saw this massive drop down on the spine. Let's go to a 5-minute chart. It's sort of easier to see here. And pre-market yesterday, basically what happened was I got to get back to the right spot here. We had this big drop, moved sideways until the opening bell, in which we started to slowly, well, actually fairly quickly move up, regained all of what was lost within the first 2 hours of the market, and then continued a little bit higher into the close. So, honestly, not what I expected to happen, but it shows exactly why you always have to be sort of aware of the signals the market's giving you, because, you could have taken advantage of the drop if you're willing to take a directional bet. But you could take a safer trade later on in the day if you just sort of watch the market and the signals it's giving you. Don't be locked into a preconceived notion about which direction things must go, right? There's never a, this has got to happen. As soon as you start thinking about that, thinking that way about the markets, you're in a dangerous spot and you should back off and sort of reconsider. But anyways, and I just realized I've now lost.
What's that?
I just lost my trade ideas. I think as Carlos was firing up and he stole the connection from me. So 1 second, I'll just reconnect here. All right. I think we're good. Okay, so let's take a look at the gappers because we've got to catch up some time here this morning. Starting with NTNX. Now, actually the only thing I had a chance to look at was it's moved now down to the gap down list. Anyways, all right, was this ACI, but we'll get to that in a minute. So
yes.
NTNX, we'll start there since I mentioned it. I didn't see this rarely comes up here. Is this an early earnings play?
No. Oh. This is talk of a potential buyout scenario.
Oh, really? Okay. So no any confirmed prices or
negative. It's really just speculation, is my understanding at this point.
Okay.
I haven't seen anything. They're exploring a sale.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, for whatever reason, my DAS is not populating information here, so I'm not exactly sure how much it's up, but I see that there's a relatively low short float with an overall at 3.6% with an overall float of 225 million shares. I used to watch NTNX probably 2017-18 when the semis were all taking off and the number of sectors were going, and frankly didn't like it. So I'm predisposed not to like it, but who knows? Maybe today's its day. We'll see. LASE just jumped up at the top of my list here with a crazy 4.9 million shares traded. Oh, this is a $5 stock, so I already know, Norm, you're not going to like it that much.
Yep. I mean, low float, $5 ticker. They had... I just see a headline here. I didn't dig in super deep. Recent IPO. I didn't dig in super deep because there's nothing I really like about this. It keeps coming on and off the gappers list because it's $5, and that's our limit. And I don't trade $5 tickers, but just the headline is Laser Photonics announces explosive growth in sales leads since IPO.
That doesn't.
Their sales leads have exploded in the last 10 business days.
Okay, that seems like pretty weak news to cause a the type of pop that we've got going on here. But all right, I don't know what to make of that.
Hamish also has Laser Photonics stock blasts off on heavy volume again after Coca-Cola implements laser cleaning system.
Okay. Maybe that's their sales pipeline. It's a pipeline of one.
Maybe it is pipeline of one.
But Coke is a big client, I'm sure.
This is true.
I'm sure it's very exciting to them. Lay's is also a recent IPO. If you look at the daily I've got up here, you can see this is all we've got. So we really don't have a lot of information to go on. So literally the all-time high here is at $5.50. I don't know. I agree with Norm. It's not the best looking stock, especially at $5. But if you like this type of crazy movement, this might be one you can play here because it's look at the float, 4.7 million. Yikes! This thing could move dramatically. All right, well, let's go on to other things here. Delta Airlines, they were one of the first out of the gate with earnings yesterday, I think.
Yeah, yesterday morning.
Yeah, because they're the only one green when everyone else was red. Held on to it until the open when they dropped like everything else. Gapping up here a little bit this morning. Is this just sort of a carryover
They got an
bounce day?
analyst upgrade this morning out of Cowan.
Okay.
Two outperform from market perform with a $54 price target.
So this is analysts jumping on the bandwagon as they see maybe business travel start to pick up again.
Yeah.
All right, we'll put it there. I don't have a huge number of candidates. Let's go to a couple of cruise lines, oddly on the gap up today with Carnival Cruise Lines and Norwegian. We'll start with CCL. I see that they're up 2%, 600,000 shares. I'm not sure if that means anything at this point.
I'm not seeing anything on these. I'm not seeing any catalyst, but there might be something out there. I just don't have it. They just popped up, so I really haven't.
Right.
Usually, Adam, cutting prices and fares is not a catalyst that would put something on the gap up list.
Yeah, no, exactly. That might help drive sales. It's not what Wall Street's looking for usually. So, anyways, of the two, CCL is usually the better one to look at. So I'll put that on my list and leave NCLH off because we're just over 100,000 shares here. Don't like it so far. WFC on the list, a bank here, Wells Fargo, up 3% with 370,000 shares. Norm?
Yeah, they, along with many other banks, have had earnings this morning. WFC, okay. Morgan Stanley, MS, JPM, JP Morgan, Citigroup C, U.S. Bancorp, USB, and on and on and on and on and on.
Okay. So...
overall, they've been actually pretty good. And while if you just read the headline, WFC, they actually missed estimates on their gap earnings. They had a charge in there that actually took them below the estimate. So it wasn't as bad as it appears on the surface. Now, if you look at like Earnings Whispers or other sites, I'm looking at Earnings Whispers right now, and it has their earnings at $1.30 versus $1.09 estimate per share. It was actually 85 on Gap, so that's what I'm talking. That's why I'm saying that. So anyway,
okay. Well, if
they had 45 cents of charges.
If all the banks are reporting, right, you may get a move out of some of them. Like you mentioned, Citibank, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, they're all ones.
Bank of America has not reported.
Oh, they have not reported yet?
No.
Okay. Well, right now, if I just flip through these quickly, the one that's moving the most is Wells Fargo. So maybe if there's one to watch so far, it's them. I'll leave them on the list and delete these others for now, and we'll move on. Let's go to our gap down list, and my list is changing rapidly. All right, I'll start with IMUX. Don't like the pre-market action. 24 million shares float, $10 stock. I don't like it. So, in the words of Carlos, no. It's been up the last 4 days.
Yeah, I'm not. I think it's just a little bit of a pullback on that. I'm not seeing a specific catalyst.
Yeah. There must have been news to pull it up, but again, still don't like it. All right, let's go to ACI. This is one that I did look at. I'm surprised to see it on the gap down. I thought it was gapping up earlier. I guess it was this morning earlier when I was looking at it. But it's since moved down. So I know they have news.
Yep, Kroger to buy Albertsons. So consolidation in the grocery space.
And it's trading well below that. I didn't see when this is supposed to close or theoretically close because it sounds like it's early days. But I saw a price of $34.10 a share. It's trading well below that price. So that would tell me that the estimated close is probably well out into 2023.
I don't have a date on that. That makes sense because as we discuss in here, sometimes, I'm just going to use round numbers. Somebody offers $25 to buy something out. And let's say that stock is 15. It'll pop up some, but it's not going to 25. But, I don't know if there's some kind of antitrust concern here. These are, I think, probably take Walmart out of the equation. I think these are the two largest grocery specific companies in the U.S. So I don't know if there's some concern that maybe this won't be allowed to go through. That could be
Right.
part of it as well. So I'm not sure. I
Mm.
haven't dug into it too much.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Well.
yeah, I mean, if, like I said though, in the scenario you have a stock that's $15 and the offer's at 25, it's not going to go to 25 because there is both you have deal risk of the deal not going through, and
Right.
then therefore hypothetically the stock would possibly drop right back to where it was. And then the other thing too is if it's a long way into the future, especially if you're considering some kind of antitrust concerns and taking time for the deal to go through, that it might like you said, if it's the end of 2023, you've tied up your money for a full year and you're not making anything on it.
Right. Well, right now, Wall
Deal
Street,
close
anyways.
early 2024. That is a
Oh, there
long
you
way out.
see. There you go. There you go. Exactly as speculated. So, it's actually trading below yesterday's close, which puts it on our negative gappers list. So that's a little odd for a company that was, that's rumored to have an acquisition. So that would tell me that, exactly as Norm was saying, somebody probably has, insight that there may be problems in this deal. So it might be interesting to watch. I mean, it certainly has volume this morning, 2.9 million shares. Whether it'll be tradable, frankly, I have no idea. So I'll just put it on a
And
secondary list, and we'll leave it
Hamish
here
is
for now.
also making an important point about why it's down from yesterday's close is that apparently there were rumors of this going to take place. So the market had some hint, and that big pop might have had a little bit to do with the market. It might have had a lot to do about those rumors. These
Right.
stocks
Yes.
usually don't trade big ranges. I mean, they're fairly boring tickers
Right.
to trade usually.
So that's a good point. We could be late to the news. There was a big candle yesterday, especially compared to look at the average trading. So yeah, maybe this is just sort of the hangover day, right, or the second day drop. We'll see what happens. Okay, we got to get through our list here, so let's keep moving. Things keep changing on it, which tells me there's
Spies
not.
popping hard. So are the Qs.
Yeah, let's take a look here. Oh, they are moving up, moving on up. All right, so yeah, since we've started here, going up pretty heavy. That could explain why my list is changing so rapidly. What else have we got in the gap down? I keep seeing Beyond the Meat. Just to annoy Andrew if he's listening.
Yeah. So they lowered sales guidance compared to previous, and they're some talking about positive cash flow operations in the second half of next year, which is I think later than originally anticipated. Their COO is the guy that bit the guy on the nose at a college football game a while back that we had many laughs about.
Yes.
And he's resigned. I think he was like on leave or something. But he has resigned, and CFO, and I'm guessing that's two different people. I don't know if he was doing both jobs or what, but all I see is CFO and COO resigns. So. Yeah, and I think they're also cutting they're cutting the fat from their workforce of about 20% of the people they have working for them.
And the jokes will never end. We should get some. I think, Norm, we have to get some like Beyond Burgers catering maybe in Florida or something, and we no, all right.
I'll go have stone crab.
Okay. All right. I see Kroger popping up on the list. We already talked about that news. It's related to ACI. Not a surprise. Usually the acquirer drops. It is down
And
2%.
well, this thing, and I'll tell you, I'm scared. But before we leave Beyond Meat, I'm concerned. I don't want this company to go out of business because it just produces too much comedic material for us in the pre-market show. So
It's way too much fun, right?
yeah.
All right, I'm just taking a look at the gap up list because, as we mentioned, with the SPY moving up quite heavily here in the last few minutes, see if anything new and exciting jumped on here. I see some of the Bitcoin, Mara, and Coin are up on the list. Let me see if they're doing anything interesting. 400,000 shares on Mara. Coin, 200,000 shares. I mean, they're moving, but I don't know. They always move. AMC. Oh, that's weird. Haven't seen that for a while. Don't like the pre-market action. Not looking great. I would say just wait and see what happens. Riot. So a lot of these blockchain, cryptocurrency companies are just popping up. Is Bitcoin making a move? Hashtag BTC. Let's see here. Oh, well, it's up, approaching 19,900 here. So maybe it'll get back
Flat.
to 20,000.
Yeah, it was red overnight. It's flat now. So
Well, we'll see what happens. All right. Everything else is just gapping up, like just right at our marker here, right? The 2%, which is really, frankly, not all that exciting. So we'll give it a few minutes. We'll see if anything else pops up. Norm, anything else you think we should take a look at right away?
I'm gonna sit back and see how this day pans out after that ridiculous day we had yesterday. I'm
Fair.
shocked to see this big pop we've had in the last few minutes. So I want to see how that all this. I'll probably trade either a proxy, an Nvidia, an Apple, something like that. Those were pretty good yesterday, or a ETF of some sort that's either semis or the Qs.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll go to the room and to YouTube. If you have something we should look at, let us know. I already seeing a few people pinging me. Look at Amazon. You got to look at Amazon. All right. I'm looking at Amazon. I see it's up here just 1%, 1.5 million shares though. So that's good volume so far this morning. I don't know. I mean, to me, this looks like it's moving with the SPY. That chart looks pretty similar. Unless there's some news you're ferreting out there, Norm. And to me, it looks, again, it looks like it's just sort of moving with the market pop here.
I don't see anything crazy this morning. Maybe I'm missing it.
All right. CJ Anderson says I sound like Jerry Seinfeld. There's an old reference, but what's up with Amazon? Anyways. Let's see. You guys any other recommendations? Beyond, we already looked at. Yeah, that's all I see there. And back in the room, Plug. I don't know that this is going to yield results. Let's take a look at Plug. Oh, it had a drop the last couple of minutes. Just under 500,000 shares. Dropping quite heavily here. But, I mean, I'd have to see this sustain, right? So, yes, good price action in the last, again, 2 minutes. But half the volume of the day is in the last couple of minutes here. So, look, if we come back to this in 10 minutes and it's 15 minutes and it's still moving, then yeah, Plug might be a candidate. I'm not sure what's causing this or if somebody's just messing around.
I haven't seen anything. If anybody knows the info, of course, I can't listen to Squawk and do the show. There we go. Hamish, my man. Plug Power cites potential of some larger products being completed in 2023 instead of this year.
Okay. So they're delaying some projects that they had promised. All right. Okay. Well, that might be enough to move it. So we'll see what happens. All right. So with that, we'll come back and take a fresh look because things are changing relatively quickly.
Yeah. I'm going to be very quick with announcements this morning because we're a little short on time and I want you to be able to get to levels effectively.
And I think I have... What have I done? My screens are not operating the way I expected. So either I screwed it up or...
That's all right. I'll just... I can read them off.
Yeah.
If you can't get it up, then I will...
Hey, now. Come on.
Did you get it? Or you're going to get it?
Well, it's sort of... it's a little hokey here. I'm not sure what's happening. Hold on a sec.
So I'll get started, and you pull it up when you get a chance. Every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, you've got Carlos doing onboarding and technology. So be sure to check that out. That's open to everybody. If you're not a member, and you can still go to that, just go to bearbulltraders.com. There's a sign up. You'll get a direct link to it that you can go to 8 p.m. Eastern on Monday nights to go check it out. Then we do strategy webinars on Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. with Carlos. Next Tuesday is going to be talking about the opening range breakout strategies. He's going to be specifically talking about the 5, but it really can be discussed. If you could just, instead of pulling up the slide, Peter, if you could pull up the website, that would be great, because all that information on there is way outdated. Or just take it down and I'll read it.
Right.
And then
I'd love to, but I can't hear. We'll give you Norm.
that's fine. Oh, there we go. Oh, wow, you can see my pores. Tuesdays 8 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday 8 p.m. Eastern. You've got Andrew on the 25th talking about moving averages, how he uses those, and which ones he uses, why he uses them, how he uses them. Psychology, next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. You've got Mike, part of his Trading 101 series. He's going to be talking about how your personal values affect your trading performance. And then Randy Howell the following week on the 26th at 8 p.m. talking about scared money, knowing better but chasing losers. Very important topic, can really mess up your trading. You got Mentorship on Thursdays with John at 11, Ed at 4, and Thor at 8. If you are watching on YouTube, you've never tried out the chat, you can go to bearbulltraders.com. Click on the intro membership. Use the promo code PreMarket24. It'll get you a discount off the memberships. 1 week, 1 calendar week, 5 trading days in the room. It does not renew. It's a one-time payment, and the Read 50 half off the Elite Annual membership is still available. That also gets you a free one-on-one coaching session with Dr. Kenneth Reed.
Wow. Okay. Well done. Turbo speed. I apologize. I'm not sure what happened there, but the tech continue for the morning. For whatever reason,
I want to, and huge shout out to you, man, because like literally it was 9:30 Eastern time. 30 seconds after the pre-market's supposed to start, and Carlos is like, my internet just went down. So thank you, Peter, for being able to hop on and cover.
That's all right. We'll make it work. That's why we're here in a team.
Gary BB is correct. I have rejected your apology, and I'll up you with some praise.
Oh, guys, stop being harsh. It's all good. It's all good. Okay, let's set some levels here. We've got a few things that are moving. What I'll do is I'll set levels on the things I've got on the list so far, and then we'll go back and just check the gappers up and down and just see if there's anything new that we want to add. So I'll start with NTNX. Still really don't like the pre-market action. It's up a significant amount here at 18.8%. Only 260,000 shares traded. So not a lot more shares than when we looked at it 15 minutes ago. So it's not looking that great. If we're going to set a daily level, look, it's right now sitting at $25, a nice whole number, which is in this consolidation range we had back here March through May of this year. So if I was to set a level, I'd be looking for it to, break down from here and go into what's not really a gap, but this looser area here. 24.45 I'll put a level, and then I'll put one sort of at the top of this range around 27.60. That's about all I've got for NTNX. We talked about LASE. Not a lot of info on this, right? This is all we've got for the daily information. Like I said, all-time high basically is $5.50 because we only have a couple of weeks worth of data. So that might be a place to watch it if you like this. Again, I'm not sure if I'm going to like it. I might put it on a secondary, just in case it becomes fun. Remember, float is pretty low on this thing, so you're going to want to be careful at 4.7 million shares. Delta Airlines was the mover yesterday. Today, we're just getting a little bit of a pop-up here. I noticed that a couple of the other airlines popped up, like United, but I think Delta's the one to watch. I've got a daily level already at 41.97, you can see, and one here at 45.07, so I'm going to keep those. I think that right now we're sitting well below those, so they are unlikely to come into play whatsoever. Let me get my chart back here. In this more immediate range, highs and lows of the previous 2 days will help me to the downside. If we do move up, I probably want to put something around here, around $33. Whoops. Because that's sort of where I saw some resistance when it tried to move up previously back in July and again in September. So I'll keep an eye on that $33 level if we get some upward movement on Delta. Carnival Cruise Lines, we said we didn't really see news. This price action, by the way, doesn't look great. Little algorithmic. See, you get these tiny little candles that, sort of are even in, like these three candles right beside each other, right? That sort of screams of algos to me. 1 penny candles that don't move much, that's not humans, that's usually computers trading. So I don't love it, right? It doesn't look like it's particularly in play. If it moves up, I've got a level already set here at this gap at $8.51. I would watch that, as well as the high of 2 days ago, which is already on my chart. That's all I'm going to worry about on that. Wells Fargo, we mentioned, was moving on earnings. I like this range area. Probably this is the type of thing that Megan would be looking at. 44.50 looks like an area to watch on the top side, where we had this consolidation range for Wells Fargo. If it gets up above that, then I'll worry about the $46, $46.30, where it sort of topped out. I don't know that we're really going to have that big of a move, but hey, you never know. If it moves down, well, then yesterday's high would be the first place I would watch for some support on the downside. Amazon was on our list. People are liking this move up. Good volume. Price action isn't great. Let me just flip back to the SPY quick. Yeah, see, there's the SPY chart. Amazon, SPY, Amazon. They look the same. Not that that's a problem, but just know I don't see an independent catalyst on this. So if it's going to move, it's probably going to move with the markets overall. Once again, the highs of the previous 2 days actually are the downside support. We'll see if it provides support. On the upside, I've got all my previous little tinfoil lines here I'm going to get rid of. I'd probably be looking around here at 118 if we get up that high, just to see if it provides any resistance to the top side. All right, going down to ACI and Kroger. ACI is sort of flattened here. Had some more interesting price action early this morning when I was watching it at 7 o'clock, but it's really been flat for the last hour and a half. So I don't know what to expect of this when we open. 3.4 million shares. So the volume, the volume isn't bad here. Oh, that's the daily volume. Sorry. The volume isn't bad as I'm watching here pre-market, but I don't know what to expect. Again, secondary list at best for this. Where would I look for levels? Well, where we're sitting right now, it's sort of mid this pull down we had in September. So it's really probably going to depend on, is there more news to come out today on this deal? If there isn't, probably going to continue to move sideways. If there is, then it'll move related to that news, right? Which could be either up or down. Kroger, on the other hand, usually the acquirer gets a little bit of a discount on their stock because, people are seeing the costs. They take the risk of integration, et cetera, et cetera. Now, this deal, as Norm pointed out, is expected to close in 2024. So while Kroger's down a little bit this morning, probably not going to be a huge impact to its movement today. But so I don't really see anything of interest on Kroger at this point. And let's go back to plug. Remember I said I wanted to see the volume continue, and it has. So whatever, that news I guess we mentioned about them moving some of their projects out into next year seems to be having an impact. So this could be a player when we get to the open. 1.3 million shares so far, down 6.8%. Now, as I'm looking at it here, what's the price here? $17.98. The low of yesterday and the day before was exactly $17.80. Interesting. So, all right. So that sets up. Sorry.
It's a weird daily with those wicks.
Yeah, like the last.
I was seeing something different.
Yeah, so am I. What's going on here? Why does it look different when I zoom in versus zooming out? Anyways, 1780. I don't know. It's different there on the 12th. I don't know what's going on with my chart. Okay. Anyways, I would watch that low to the downside. Hopefully that would provide some support. If it doesn't, then where would this thing break to? Well, we could break down probably down here to around $16. $16.40 is where I'm going to put my level just to keep an eye on it there. All right. So I said I was going to go back to the gappers. Let's take a quick look. The gap down is easy, right? Not seeing anything new on that I want to take a look at. On the gap up list, I'm seeing a lot of the same. I see Carvana on it, but with only 115,000 shares. Not that exciting. I didn't really look at any of the cryptocurrency Bitcoin type plays, but they're here if you like them. They're going to do what they usually do. Again, I usually avoid them, so I'll keep them off my list for now. Nothing else of interest. Shopify. Well, maybe. Hold on. Shopify. 500,000 shares. Moving up a bit here at 2%. Boy, Shopify's like $26. Wow, I haven't looked at this in a long time. Okay. Um, but yeah, I don't, might be okay. Think I've got better things on my list already. So for me, I haven't talked about the old standbys in these sort of markets the way they've been working the last couple of weeks. I always just focus on Apple and AMD. I find that they provide me good opportunity, and if not, then I can take a look at other things. So I'm going to continue to focus on AMD for today. Like Norm mentioned, Nvidia might be another good one to take a look at. They're always good movers. I'm probably going to look at Amazon. It's moving with the market, but it does have volume this morning. Keep an eye on the bank at Wells Fargo. And like I said, LASE, just for fun, but it'll be really a secondary. Unlikely to trade. I'll just watch it in case it does something interesting. So that's my list. Let's take a look and see what my friends in the chat room are.
Somebody's calling out Tesla on YouTube, and I don't see a real catalyst this morning. I see, it was announced yesterday. I guess Elon's under some scrutiny for how he acted during the takeover on this thing. Not surprising at all.
I'm shocked.
I don't see a great catalyst on Tesla this morning, but it's kind of one of the standbys. If it's one of yours that you like to trade, it's going to move. It's going to be in play. UNH, probably not.
Yeah, and Norm, you and Carlos were talking about this yesterday about the standby list, right? What's a normal list of stocks people can watch? And like we said, it depends on your personal trading style and what you like in movement. I like AMD, but for my own reasons. Others can hate it. That's great. Apple is a good one to watch. Tesla, even Amazon. Like, there's lots of stocks out there you could watch that generally move with the market. I wouldn't call them proxies for the market, but they generally move with the market and have consistent volume and relatively low spread. Now, Tesla has a bigger spread than the others that I've mentioned in the list, but you can predict it, right? You generally know what it looks like. So, hey, if you like trading it, again, go for it. There's no right or wrong answer, right? If you've got something you watch every day, I mean, we've got one of our members, his name is I Trade Nvidia. So you know what he's doing every day, right? So, and that's the stock that he or she loves to trade. So, nothing wrong. So let's take a look. I only see Brian, oddly, out of the gate first with his list here. Going to be watching Plug, ACI, Tesla, the Qs, and the SPY. So the market indices overall. I already mentioned to you what I'm looking at. I have not had a chance whatsoever to look at the IPOs this morning, so I don't know if anything's jumped up on the list. Oh, I actually have a couple here. It looks like a couple of SPACs that might come up. I'll put those up for our members in the room in case you're interested. I haven't seen any IPOs that have done anything fun, frankly, in months now. But anyways, you never know. And then, everything else has been pushed to next week. All right, that's what I've got, and we are at time. So, looks like Carlos has got his connection back, so it's good. We want to make sure Carlos is up and ready for the market open so he can actually trade. Everybody out there, thanks for...
It's come and gone a couple of times from my understanding.
Oh, has it? Oh, well, sorry to hear that then. Thank you, everybody on YouTube, for putting up with some of the challenges that we've had today from a technical side, but we got it going here. And I just see on YouTube, T. Charles, you're asking to look at JP Morgan. I've looked at it quickly because Norm mentioned that like a lot of the banks have reported and they're moving. Right now, JP Morgan, like look at this pre-market action rate. This doesn't look that fun.
Yeah,
it's a nicey stock. If I'm going to watch one, frankly, I'd be watching Wells Fargo myself. But JP Morgan is fine. If you like the banks, then by all means, I would just say definitely give it a couple of minutes at least after the opening bell. My experience is that these can move unexpectedly. Patterns don't help you at the open on these nicey stocks. So, wait for it to settle out, see where it's going. And it might do something interesting, or it might just settle into a flat line for the day. But if you're going to watch it, be cautious. Yeah. All right, so thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Have a great, great trading day. As Carlos would tell you, right? Don't do anything you're going to regret going into the weekend. Trade smart against your strategy, and at least win or lose, you know that you took some mature trades, and it gives you some data that you can analyze and ways to focus on your improvement. So trade smart, and we will see you back here on YouTube Monday morning with Engineering the Markets and Jared and Norm. Thanks a lot.
Yep. Take care, guys. Trade safe. Peter, thank you so much for the last minute substitution. Have a great weekend, everybody.
All right. Take care, everyone. Later.